God, what the hell is that?
I'm the sheriff. I'm the sheriff.
You're the police, where are your badges?
I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
That's because I'm a stuntman. I'm a genuine sports personality. A legendary folk hero.
Jesus Christ.
There he is. Very bad as cat joke. Even the guards are terrified of him.
You can call me when I have to call my lawyer. They bring me a telephone. Would you like to leave me your home phone number?
I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to hear no more of this.
Wait a minute, I'm just getting to the weird part.
The weird part.
Yeah, it gets weird.
Say we take off, nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Let's do it.
Can you do that?
I can do anything. I'm the chief of police.
Well, let's see how this goes. Everybody hear me okay? Perfect. Welcome to Thursday. I do not have the fun clap sound. We're horsing around on OBS today. As you can see, we got a little bit different layout. I found out I was horsing around yesterday after I got off of the show. I was horsing around with OBS. I've always wanted to do, OBS lets you do a lot of cool things. OBS is just a different streaming platform for those of you who are not doing this as a hobby. StreamYards is super easy to use, but you don't get to do as much cool stuff with it as you want. I have my little audio waveform thing down there. I get to put my avatar up like I like it. Background's a little cleaner, that sort of thing. And it's much easier to access, the fun stuff.
Some bad hat, Harry.
So we can do all kind of neat things. The screen share is a little bit different, but you got to have Streamlabs to do a bunch of stuff on it. And I just figured that out this morning. So I have not loaded the widgets on there that allow the chat to show up. You guys can see each other in chat. I just can't put it up on the main screen. So we're stuck with that for now. It's not that Marianne's freaking out already. She's like, oh my God, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me that. I was going to use OBS. Yes, you use OBS. First of all, OBS is free, okay? And Streamlabs is free. So do not worry about that. OBS is hard to collaborate on, so you should probably have StreamYards if you're going to do collaboration show, because it's just an easier platform for everybody to use. Pretty common. But if you're going to do your own thing, OBS lets you do a lot of cool stuff. You can do it at the drop of a hat, uses resources a lot different. So there. But I got a bunch of widgets that I still have to load from Streamlabs before we can make it look cool and professional like everybody else's stuff. All right, there, we got that off our chest. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see everybody here. Marianne, first one in the door. Italian Jim takes the silver medal this morning. And Cole Hauser, the Canadian Colossus, took the bronze as far as who made it into the studio first this morning. Darth Yeager got honorable mention. Dark Lord of Cinema. Good to see y'all here. OBS and StreamYards both. Yeah, well, Cole Hauser says, I use OBS and StreamYards both. Yeah, but you're big time. I mean, you've got, what, like 1.4, 1.5 million subs at this point? So, you can afford that kind of thing. Us little people, we got to pick a platform. That's the problem. If you're going to do collaboration shows, you still got to have StreamYards, because everybody that's anybody uses StreamYards. That's the best way to do collaborations, because it's super easy. You just click on somebody's email and they're invited, and then they just show up. They hit the studio and bang, they're in. You got to do a bunch of weird stuff with OBS to get it to work out, and it's a total pain. total pain in the ass. But what we can do is do this. Look at that. Got us a little background music. I don't know. You guys are going to have to tell me about the audio because I can't tell what it sounds like out there. You know, well, if it's too loud or not loud enough or whatever, let me know. And unfortunately, I just have the one music file right now, so we're going to put that on for a little bit, and then we'll just let it roll in the background. All right, enough of the technical stuff. You guys didn't check in for a technical class. You guys want to make with the funny, old man? All right, let's do it. Before we get started, get too big. Cole Hauser says get too big and things get out of hand. Number one, you're already too big. What are you, like 6'10", 400 pounds, somewhere in there? So too late. Oh, good. Thank you, Jim. Okay, perfect. Good. We're good to go. I wanted to horse around with one thing. Man, I love this. Every single time I see this, I just gotta call it out. The hey, 100 Battles is here. Welcome aboard. All right. In Cole Hauser's robot form, he uses OBS. In his vehicle form, he uses StreamYards. That's pretty good, Battles. That's pretty good. It's a little early morning Transformers reference for Cole Hauser and the rest of the gang. Nice one. Nice one. I was listening to New York City Mayor Zoran McDonald's this morning. I know that ain't his name. I don't give a shit. Guy's a socialist. He can eat it. Anyway, I absolutely love the taxation plan. I think it's hysterical. I can't wait for the media to try and spin it when that city absolutely collapses. And it will. It will. We're going to tax the rich people. We're going to make $500 million. Guess what? Not only are you not going to make $500 million, you're going to lose a shit pile of revenue. Because businesses, your Fortune 500, your Fortune 100 companies, they're already moving out. That tax is going to make more of them move out. And then people that own big houses there are going to sell them for pennies on the dollar and get out. And then people that turn around to buy those properties, since the taxes are so high, the valuation on those properties is going to go down. This is not rocket science. This is economics 101. And I just love that socialists keep swinging for the fences. Like one day there may, if we just keep swinging a little bit harder, whew, right in the glove. Every single time. Every single time. So I'm looking forward to that plan blowing up in his face. That and the city-owned supermarkets and all that trash. Ugh. Love it. Absolutely love when they screw that stuff up. I saw the story about the former Virginia lieutenant governor. I'm not going to say his name, and there's a reason why, and we're going to get to that in our first story when we do the news. But I get really tired of these murder-suicide idiots doing it in the wrong order. I certainly wish they'd turn that order around a little bit. You know, do us all a favor. Do suicide murder. Try that out for a couple of years. Because I'm getting tired of reading about families getting whacked by some retard that just can't hack it anymore. That really bugs me. You want to do yourself in, that's fine. That's none of my business. When you do it the other way around, that's when I get upset. So, I ain't even going to go down that road. But there's a reason that I did not say his name. And we're going to get to it right now. Because I got a little story here that I am going to play. There we go. Perfect. See, the screen share looks better. Look at how big that print is. You get to see all kinds of good stuff about the story. From CBS, 8th grade student, Minecraft's 9 people, wounds 13 in Turkey's second school firearms incident in 2 days. I'm going to be careful what I say on YouTube. I don't know where their algorithm is, and until they get it unscrewed, I ain't gonna take my chances anymore. We lost our music. What happened there? Nah, hell with it. We're just gonna roll for a minute. In 2 days, they had 2 incidents at schools. A bunch of kids got Minecrafted. The reason that I didn't bring up Dingbat's name from the earlier story, I got a theory about this I want to share with everybody. Number one, God help these people. This is horrible. This is the worst thing I can possibly imagine. Second of all, I got me a little theory about why kids do this. Anybody that knows anything about the kind of psychotic person, that's why, because it's on the streaming background. Anybody that knows anything about a psychotic person, a lot of times they want to get famous. I want one time. The news media has all these theories about the kids do it because of this, they do it because of that. You know, it's the medications, it's the parents, it's the bullying, it's this, that. You know what it is? It's mentally ill people knowing full well that they pull something like this off, they are going to be world famous for a day, and that's all they want. You know what I want to see happen? I want to see it become media practice that if somebody pulls out a mass damage incident like this, they do not get one word of press. There is a 48-hour moratorium, and then their name, it would be illegal to mention the suspect, deceased or no, illegal to mention their name. You know, I want to see them put a real, do the world a favor, don't do that for a year, see if they occur anywhere. I got a sneaking suspicion when that's no longer popular in the media, they'll try and turn to a different venue, but at least get them out of the schools. I can't handle that. That makes me mental. So, and they'll never admit it and they'll never try it. But that's since the time, how far back should we go? I would say maybe Charles Whitman, when that became the big story. Those kids in Columbine, I happened to be living there at the time. I was actually working at the time. I knew some people I knew a couple old boys went into that school. I mean, to tell you, that was about the most horrible thing ever. I have a real sneaking suspicion that and those boys knew, they knew that was part of their plan. They were going to get famous. They knew it was going to be a big deal. That's why they did it. Now, had the coverage not existed, I'll bet you the copycats wouldn't have either. A daily drop, metaphorically speaking, Jim says you got a gallows in the foreground of the screenshot. How about coming up with a daily dropping? Oh, yeah. We'll do that fair enough, Jim. We will hook it up. I'll get OBS all lit up, and we'll put the widgets in there like we like, and we'll drop that story right there drop it right by the gallows, because that's a good place for it. That'd be my challenge to the mainstream media. I dare you, for 1 year, don't do any reporting on a school shooting. See what happens. There, I said it. Hopefully I don't get bagged. Don't do any reporting on it. See if you get any copycats. You might have one or two that go, well, they just didn't do it big enough. Let's make it even bigger. Nope. And then make it public. You're like, we're not reporting on this because of, nope. It's a moratorium story and we're not covering it. Boom, done. And then these goofballs will go, well, that ain't going to work. Better figure something else. Then they'll probably move on to hospitals or some weird trash. Whatever they do. Mental illness, man. We just don't deal with mental illness like we used to and like we need to. And that's all forms. It ain't just these violent Fruit Loops. People that got, gender dysphoria, all that that needs to come back. That needs to be treated. Not treated like, not applauded. It's a sickness. You need help. Get them some treatment. All right, I ain't going to go too far down that road. I do want to do, This is not necessarily about Swalwell. It involves him, but it's not about him. This is about one of my least favorite people on the face of the planet, what I consider one of the evilest people to have lived over the past 50 years or so. Let's get to this young lady here. This is some C-SPAN. Frank says no on Swalwell's resignation after assault allegations. Quote, some Republicans and others are saying that Democrats turned a blind eye. And this vodka-soaked hag. That is absolutely not true. Let's listen to one of the richest people to ever work in Congress.
Eric Swalwell, resigned today
Yes, he did.
from the Congress. He withdrew from the gubernatorial race in California. Did you tell him to resign?
All right. I want you to do one thing while we're watching this. Pay attention not to just what she's saying, but the manner in which she speaks.
Oh, I think that was his decision. I think it's a smart decision
The right
to
thing
make.
to do?
Yes.
Yeah, he just woke up one morning and thought, somebody's going to accuse me of something bad. I should probably just bail out. Oh, my God, I can't stand this woman.
It's the right thing to do, yes. Not to subject members to have to take a vote on something like that. And
Not to subject members to have to take a vote on something like that. The guy was already up for ethics, problems. This was just the icing on the cake.
not to subject your family. Probably 5 times in the history of our country has anybody been ejected from the Congress. Why should you be the 6th? If you have a challenge that you have to address, it's best addressed not as a candidate for governor and not as a member of Congress.
Now, here's what I mean by the way she speaks. This woman is so stinking patronizing, it makes me sick. She talks to people like she's talking to a kindergarten class. I can't stand this woman. Oh, my God.
Some Republicans and others are...
And it's best not to address that as a candidate for governor, as a member of Congress. So essentially, yeah, he did it, and we didn't need that shit splashing on us.
They're saying the Democrats turned kind of a blind eye, that they knew what he was up
No,
to
that's
or
not
what the
true.
allegations
That is
were.
absolutely positive. It's true that they may say that, but it is absolutely not
You had
true.
no idea.
None whatsoever.
Okay, it's absolutely not true, and she had no idea. Now, I believe it's possible that she had no idea because at the stage that she's in, she may not know where she's at right at the moment that she's speaking here. Okay? But for her to say that nobody in the Democrat Party had any idea, you lying bitch. I'm going to call this woman out every single time on this. You lying sack of shit. You've got people on X who were pages, who were, insiders in Washington that have been saying this has been an open secret since 2020. 2020, excuse me. You are out. It's bad enough that you're going to lie to me, but when you do it in a manner that says, yeah, I'm lying, fuck you going to do about it? I can't. Oh, my God, the arrogance on this woman absolutely burns me. Hook her up to a polygraph, Jim, Italian Jim. And I'm going to try and pronounce. Is it Iacono? Is that? We'll try it. 6112. Italian Jim says, hook her up to a polygraph. I got bad news for you, Jim. Polygraphs only work on people with a conscience. The polygraph does not measure whether or not you're actually lying. It measures how much your conscience is being bothered by something. This woman would pass a polygraph with flying colors every single time because she's an absolute sociopath. This you got to have some conscience for a polygraph to work. She don't qualify. She is right out the door on that one, my man. That ain't gonna happen. Oh, wow. I can't. I'm going to be careful here. I was going to say something. I'm going to keep it in my pocket. Boy. Go away, lady. Go away. Here is, let's stick with government for a moment. See how we're doing on time, 9:20. Good. We got plenty of time. I might get back to her in a little bit, but for right now, I'm going to leave that alone. Here's my happy story for the day as far as government's concerned. Office of Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, sends criminal referrals to DOJ for ex-IG whistleblower tied to Trump impeachment. Now, we did this story just when it came out that the IG may be involved. It didn't take long for Tulsi Gabbard to get on board with this and do a criminal referral. I suspect they probably had them in their pocket before they went and did that. Okay, good on you. Now, this is from Fox. Quickly, Office of the ODNI sent criminal referrals to the Justice Department for the whistleblower whose complaint helped trigger President Donald Trump's 2019 impeachment and for the former Intelligence Community Inspector General, who notified Congress of the allegations, Fox News has learned. Okay. Want for information that may constitute okay. Here's the fellow that we're talking about. Here's the IG, Michael Atkinson. Okay. Then Inspector General of the intelligence community. Remember I talked about IGs are supposed to be the nonpartisan, totally not biased watchdogs of whatever agency. They're supposed to be outside and apart from politics and have nothing to do with, either of the parties, all that bullshit. That's total nonsense. And this guy cooked some stuff up to kick off the impeachment, as it related to the calls to Ukraine. I'm going to sidebar one of these days. We're going to do a show about Hunter Biden and his job over there and how Ukraine's the money laundering capital of the world, and that family's knee deep in it. We're going to do a whole, today ain't that day. I'm just going to tease it, throw that out there. There you go. I did want to do this. Number one, good. Okay, great. I'm happy to see that. So IG there are IGs of IGs, okay? And then you have, DNIs, Director of National Intelligence, does a lot of stuff. Here's what I wanted to say as far as this story. Some people look at, we see Tulsi Gabbard. I'm going to take her off the screen. I'm going to put the background back on for a minute so we can do this. Not that one, this one. May have had issue with Tulsi Gabbard being DNI as an appointee. Now, she went through with flying colors because she's got a lot of friends on the other side of the aisle from the R. She got a lot of friends on the D side of the aisle. Had one by her name at one point. Some folks had problems with her. I want to say that so far, in my layman's assessment of her job, Tulsi Gabbard has been one of Trump's better picks throughout his entire tenure. Not just from this story. There's a lot of stuff that she does. This story just happened to key me off to, you know what, I got to get in there and mix it up a little bit and kind of make a plug for everybody in this country needs to be an independent again and stop worrying about what letters behind somebody's name and what they can actually do. Tulsi Gabbard was a solid pick. She hasn't really screwed up to this point. And frankly, she probably privy to some information that would be harmful to the administration. So, that may come out someday. And if it does, I am going to give her just as much due as I'm giving right now. I'm all about, I don't care what side you're on. If you don't shoot straight, I don't want to know you. You need to not be in charge of my money or the lives of this nation's treasure. We need people up there that, I don't care what you do in your own home, but when you're in the office, your integrity is above reproach and your intellect matches. That's what I'm looking for. So far, Tulsi's doing a good job. So for everybody that's, along party lines, I want to throw that out. Sometimes you need to let your party lines go. Because sometimes there's people out there that you don't care what letters behind their name. These are some solid folks. I don't care. I'll give you another one. Fetterman. I don't care if it was the stroke that, got him mugged by reality. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but there are a few things me and that lurch-looking dude see eye to eye on completely. I'm like, okay, tell it, kid. And that's got him in a lot of hot water with his party, but I don't care. If you're spitting truth, you're spitting truth. Cole Hauser. And then there's that. And Cole Hauser brings up, I can't wait till I get the widget so you guys can see these comments. Cole Hauser verbatim. I'd hit it. And then there's that. She's a fairly good-looking woman. She's not as hot as Mrs. McCoy, but she's a fairly good-looking woman. So we're clear. He says Eric Holder's fingerprints are all over the, yeah, they are. There's a whole bunch of stuff that former administration, that's why I was talking about Valerie Jarrett that one day, and people don't give her enough hate. Oh my goodness, that woman, oh man, do not ever get 3 whiskeys in me and sit down and then ask me about Val Jar. It'll get up. Stuff's gonna get broke. That's a promise. That's just the way it goes. Darth Yeager, also a Tulsi fan. I like her because of her attitude, because of her demeanor. you know, the way she conducts herself, she shoots it straight, man. I don't always like what she has to say, but by God, it ain't a lie. And I can never fault the truth. I'll tell you straight out, I don't like hearing it, but truth is the truth, man. Can't get around that. Here's another happy little accident I ran across. Let's do this real quick. Live Nation illegally monopolized ticket market. Jury and antitrust trial fines. If anybody's ever gone through Ticketmaster and had to deal with those wizards, well, guess what? They in trouble. They went to trial, antitrust trial. Jury found them guilty. Anti-competitive practices, and they got $172 per ticket at major concert venues. Got hit with a jury award. They got the dollar amount in here. Let me go down to it. The damages amount was originally just below $150 million, but they could triple that if they wanted. And of course, you know, Ticketmaster's they're gonna appeal, but I wouldn't say I necessarily hate Ticketmaster per se. I'm not, you know, it's a fairly easy venue to use. Excuse me one second. Fairly easy venue to use. I get that, you know, and they've got that auto. You can get it on an app on your phone and you just walk into an arena. That's fine. But I do find that their fees that they tack on there over and above their operating cost to be a little stiff. And you can't show me another venue that you can use, another company that you can use to get into any major venue. They've got it locked up, and I don't care for monopolies. Hey, Beast. Morning, brother. How are you? Aloha. There he is, typing in Hawaiian again. So, the one thing that I hated about this story was that Letitia James and Rob Bonta got to spout off about it. I don't like that they come in and take a W for something that really didn't have anything to do with them. If I was Letitia James right now, I think I'd be sweating a little bit because she got some payback coming her way. Just let's be clear, she is not on the up and up. She pulled, you know what kills me? This, man, you read those two stories. Go read about Letitia James and read about the indictments and convictions that they got on Trump. They are literally the exact same thing. So she basically pulled the old Bolshevik tactic of, you know, accuse others of that which you yourself are guilty. She literally prosecuted him for the exact same things that she was guilty of herself. And she's going to get caught, and good on it. I hope she goes to jail. That's, you know, wow. Anyway, that was my happy story on the legal front, because there ain't much to be happy about outside of that. Let's see here. Hey, Deb, what's up? Oh, Deb chimed in. You might be back a ways, Deb, just so you know. Of course, you won't hear this until about 10 minutes later, but I think Deb's way back in the stream. she'll pop in here in a little bit and realize she's way behind. Go, why is everybody in the chat talking about a whole different thing than me? And then, oh, wow. And she'll show up about 10 minutes before the end of the show. I do that constantly. I'm like, why are my chats not matching up with the conversation? And then I go down to the timeline like, because you're a half hour behind, dummy. Oh, right. I remember now. I might get back to her in a minute. Before we go to the Circus Freak sideshow, let's do this one real quick. I know we've been talking about oil on and off, and sometimes I say some things that I get. My problem is I know in my head what I'm trying to do with economics. I do this so often in my head that I kind of roll down a road. Not everybody's in the same car that I'm in mentally, so I kind of screw things up. But we had talked about why, you know, things cost the way they do, and refining, and how refining is what really holds you back. Jim asked, didn't some judge drop the Letitia case? Sort of, but without prejudice, and they've already announced that day they had an intent to refile, so it'll keep going. It'll keep going. We were talking about refining and how that affects your cost of, you know, fuel and all that stuff. I wanted to throw this story out and go a little bit go a little bit weird. Fire erupts. This is from Zero Hedge, by the way. Sorry about the ads. That's the way they roll. That's just, there's nothing I can do. Even using Brave, they've found a way around Brave's ad blocker, so you still see them. Anyway. Fire erupts at major Australian refinery, amplifying fuel shock as green killed refining buffer. Real quick, Australia's failed green domestic energy policies already sparked a fuel supply shock shortly after the U.S.-Iran conflict disrupted tankers at the Hormuz choke point. Now, a fire has broken out at the larger of Australia's 2 remaining oil refineries, adding even more fuel supply woes. Now, there's not a whole bunch of people in Australia. Population-wise, they're not that big. I think there's more people in the state of New York or Florida than there is in all of Australia, off the top of my head. I wouldn't swear to it, but it's pretty close, all right? Wouldn't swear to it. Here's where I'm at. Victoria State Fire Authority said the blaze erupted at Viva Energy's 120,000 barrel a day Geelong refinery, one of only 2 operating oil refineries left in Australia. Refinery accounts for roughly 10 to 12% of Australia's fuel supply, while covering about half of Victoria's fuel demand. Victoria, see if I get this straight. I don't know if they're talking about the state, in which case it's Sydney, in which case you got a huge population right there. So half of that area's fuel demand gone out the window. And they've got some pictures here on X showing, the spectacular nature of the fire. They got another one. If you want to watch that, you can go to Zero Hedge and watch that if you want. Like I always say, any site you visit as a reference from this show, be forewarned. I am not responsible, nor is YouTube responsible for the content of those sites. You take your chances when you're on the internet, and I like to throw that out for Zero Hedge specifically because they can get a little far right. You're going to see don't go to the comments if you can help it. You're going to see some weird stuff in there. You're going to see a lot of really smart stuff, but boy, I tell you what, there's some freak shows in there, so tread lightly, okay? I got that out of the way. In a separate report, Al Jazeera noted that flames were reported as high as 200 feet. Yeah, all that. Okay. Not a positive development, but obviously there's a long way to go in terms of working out just what the impact is. Energy Minister Chris Bowen told local outlet Channel 9. Here's where I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on for a minute. It might just be me. I might be imagining things. I did not have time when I saw this story this morning to do what I want to do, which is this. I'm going to look up every refinery incident over the last 10 years and then look up every major greenie push for the last 10 years. I think when it seems to me, when oil is at its highest, when oil is in short supply, you go to an area where the greenies got a real firm toehold on that nation state, they seem to have some sort of incident with a pipeline or a refinery or a port or something that would allow them to say, hey, if we kind of ramped up production, we could take the pain out of that a little bit. I happen to think that there is a group of people on this planet who are purposefully doing this kind of thing to try and strangle people into what they call green energy. We have not done a green energy show, and what an absolute ridiculous scam that is, but we'll do that one day. And let's be clear, I would absolutely love if electric was the way to go for cars. Anything that was cleaner would be the way to go for cars. I would love it if we could stop mass producing plastics in the amount. Go walk on the beach one time, tell me you wouldn't be happy if plastics didn't exist. Especially around the Gulf, because the Gulf gets a lot more shipping than, the open ocean. It's just more concentrated here. When you live on the Gulf Shore, you go walk on the beach, unless you've got a crew that cleans it up daily and early, it'll break your heart some days. I walk down there most days. Some days better than others, but some days, man, and live near shipping lanes. We got a port not too far away from here. We're not that far out to shipping lanes. One of those ships drops a pallet of bags of fertilizer, and that pallet breaks apart about 2 miles off of your shore. That shit is all up and down your beach. It'll break your heart. So let's be clear. I'm not exactly saying to hell with Mother Earth or anything, okay? I just happen to be a pragmatic sort of person, and green energy is a scam. And at best, it's a scam. At worst, it's actually more dangerous than our conventional forms of energy, and that bugs me. Much like economics, people on the left don't tend to think things through very quick. They don't tend to give it much. Well, that's a problem. They think too quick. They don't think it through very long. They don't track things back to, their source. And does that make sense? They just read a bumper sticker and go, yeah, I'm all in, boy. You bet. Coexist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it doesn't exactly work like that. I don't care. Green energy. Yeah, well, it doesn't exactly. Windmills are this new. No, they're not. Go watch Landman if you want to see somebody break it down just for a real goof kind of dramatic effect kind of thing. That speech Billy Bob Thornton does to that lawyer when she first shows up in the show, that's pretty funny. And it's fairly accurate. You ever want to see what an absolute disaster green energy can really be, sit down and figure out what it takes to actually make one of those electric cars, how long they live, and what happens to the battery and materials afterwards. Would I love it if hydrogen cars were mass produced and used? You bet. Is that going to happen right now? Nope. Make no mistake, oil's got a pretty big interest in keeping their business going. I get it. But if they could figure out a way to switch over to an easier product to get and distribute, they would do it in a heartbeat. The risk and money that they take just drilling an oil well would blow your mind. They spend a lot of money on R&D, man. They spend a lot of money on operating costs. Drilling, transportation, refining. Shit ain't cheap. Cole Hauser, how do you think Tom Steyer got rich? I know how Tom Steyer got rich. I don't have to think, man. I don't have to think too long about that one. I already did that. So that was my tinfoil hat theory for the day. What a coincidence that just as soon as the oil market's getting strangled, one of Australia's 2 refineries has a mishap. Yeah, there are such things as coincidences in this world. That ain't one of them. And it bugs me. It bugs me a lot. All right, we did enough of that nonsense. Let's have a little fun. Let's go to the freak show world of entertainment. Let's do this. I ran across this today. This was my shock picture of the morning, so I'm going to share it with you. And now you can be shocked as well. Amanda Bynes shows off dramatic new hair transformation as she ditches her bleach blonde look. For those of you not familiar with Amanda Bynes, former child star, I have a theory about Hollywood. A lot of people share that theory. Child stars are the way they are because of Corey Feldman's revelations. And that is not new, and it is not specific to one or two. I think it's every child star has to deal with this at some point in their career. That's why they turned out like this. This just screams mental illness to me. And as a kid, my heart goes out to this person. As a child. As an adult, you get yourself some help, get cleaned up, do your thing, work it out. I know I'm not being glib when I say that. I'm just saying when you're an adult, you're cognizant enough that those resources exist. You need to get yourself squared away. All right? Get yourself some help. Now, I'm going to pop down. Let's do, where's she at? Not that. There you go. There's Amanda originally. Okay? Fairly normal looking Hollywood child star, right? You look at that, compare her to this. Tell me that young lady wasn't just abused to all get out when she was a kid in Hollywood. And it ain't just her. Like I said, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, go through Judy Garland. You go all the way back to Judy. Name it, man. Name it. Go all the way back. Pick out every child star. Tell me at one point or another they didn't have their Amanda Bynes period. And then people that go, oh, you know, I'm not sure that really that, or maybe it's just that one. Oh my goodness, you really want to play that? I'll tell you what, we're going to play the Sheriff McCoy game. I'm going to name this the Sheriff McCoy game. I will give you $1,000 for every former child star that grew up a perfectly normal human being. You give me $100 for every former Hollywood child star that grew up an absolute disaster, including music. Anybody want to play that game? Anybody want to play the 100 to 1,000 game? It's all of them. It's every single one of them. There may be one or two that you go, yeah, they were a child star. They turned out okay. Yeah, all right. I'll play that. I'll take that chance. My heart goes out to those kids. If you're a parent and you put your kid in any sort of position in Hollywood that they are you're going to use them to make a career, you're going to try and get them famous, and you're not watching them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, making sure nobody's perping on them, making sure they get an education, make sure that, they grow up normal. If you're not doing that, don't put your kid in Hollywood. If you're not willing to make that commitment, don't do it. Because I guarantee you, the minute you throw them to them wolves, that kid's all, yeah, kid from T2. So Cole Hauser said that kid from T2 quit Hollywood. The kids that survive are the ones that they do one movie and the parents look at the whole process, and they were the ones that were there the whole time and went, nah, we ain't doing this. Nope. Those are the kids that make it out alive from Hollywood. Everybody else, you wind up like Amanda. Darth Yeager says part of the leftist uglification to avert the so-called male gaze trend. Boy, if I had to go all the way down this road real quick in my head, I think it's a push to just get... You know that statement that says that, hard times make good men make easy times make soft men make hard times, that kind of thing? I think there's a push by a certain group of people in this world that want to make nothing but soft men, because they don't want hard men, because then they're going to get smoked, and they know it. Hard men don't abide hard times for too long. They change that shit, and they change it for their families. And there's a group of people that don't like. That's independence right there. That's what independence is. Independence is when you go, I don't care what the economy does. I don't care who comes for me. I don't care any of that shit. I'm fine. My family's fine. We'll have plenty to eat. That's what independence is. That's what hard men do. That's what good men do. And then you have too much of that, it gets too easy, and then you get soft, and then you got a problem. So there's a group of people that is legitimately pushing for that. Yeah, they want the whole group to look like Timothy Chalamet. You go, yeah, sorry. My boys are going to learn how to defend themselves with their hands, how to use a bow and arrow, how to be polite and professional to everyone you meet, but also have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Thanks, General Mad Dogs Mattis, for that one. But Zephyr Canine's up. Just waking up. Good on you. Welcome aboard. Yeah, Shirley Temple, probably the only one that turned out normal, although they kind of abused that, and then, she did okay. Although she kind of spilled the beans a little bit. Not to her personally, but stuff that she saw. She kind of skirts the edges every now and again. This one I like, though. There's just something really weird about this particular story that caught my eye. For those of you who know who Mindy Kaling is, she's done a couple of things. I don't find her particularly amusing. I don't really watch much of what she does in detail. But I was around for everybody ripping Velma apart, and I had the unfortunate idea to sit down and watch an episode of that show one time, and it took me all of about 5 minutes to go, okay. And I turned it. I'm not a guy, God love people like Gary and Drinker and, Mahler and all them that sit down and, they force Ryan to watch all this stuff. God love them for actually sitting through the whole thing and going, okay, we'll do it cover to cover and make sure. I'm more of an Alexander Solzhenitsyn kind of guy. He's the author of the Gulag Archipelago, by the way. If you've never read it, go check it out. Solzhenitsyn said, in order to taste the entire ocean, one need take only one gulp. I absolutely concur with that. So every time I run into one of those things, I go, salt water. Okay, I get it. And then I don't go back to it because, milk's sour. If I put it back in the fridge tomorrow, it ain't going to be fresh. Shit's already turned, right? So Mindy Kaling was one of those people. Every now and again when I see her name crop up, I'm kind of got the over-under bet on how long she's going to last in Hollywood. I saw this little gem, and I said, okay, let's take a look at it. Mindy Kaling's weight loss secrets revealed as star 46 looks slimmer than ever. Okay, it's not a secret. It's Ozempic. Everybody, this is not. How long has this stuff been out now? What are we doing? Okay, whatever. Looks slimmer than ever despite struggling with body image since high school and accepting she'd be chubby for life. Okay. Fucking Daily Mail. I don't know why I keep reading this. I think it's entertainment at this point. It's fodder for the show. Let's be honest. It's fodder for the show. Okay. Fair enough. I'm like, I like to do the ridiculous. What better place to go than the Daily Mail? Thank you, Britton. Appreciate it. Here's what I wanted to point out. Here's what I'm going to call the 3 stages of Mindy Kaling. Not only is she dramatically losing weight, it's not news, Jim. It's not. This is pure entertainment nonsense. This is totally off the beaten path. I just like to throw one silly thing in there that I get to make fun at other people's expense, and who better than Mindy Kaling? So there we go. Now, somebody look at these 3 pictures. Not only is Mindy losing weight fairly, drastically, somebody tell me she's not on the Michael Jackson skincare plan. Is it my imagination, or is this woman not? I mean, I expect to see Mindy with blonde hair shortly. I don't know how many people notice this kind of thing, but I love when Mindy goes out and rails against, cis white people. And then you look at pictures of her as it progresses and she's turning into a cis white woman. I go, wow. Maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe it's me. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's the lighting in each one of the pictures, right? It's just me. I was making that stuff up. I could be wrong. I might be imagining that. Anybody else notice that, or was that just me? I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep just for the show. I'll take one for the team, just for the show. Over the next year or 2, I will keep an eye on Mindy Kaling. We'll start compiling pictures, and we'll do a timeline of pictures and see if she turns into Sydney Sweeney over the next, year or so. Wouldn't that just be hysterical? God, that'd be funny. You watch that Velma show and see what kind of just rip apart she does on cis white culture, and then she turns out to be, a living Barbie doll in 2 years after the show collapses. God, that's funny to me. That self-loathing piece of, their psyche that just absolutely tears them up. I think that's good action right there. All right, before we just sit around and chit-chat, I want to get one more thing out. I've been doing this. I did this a couple of times. I want to do it today, specifically for this channel. One of the things I thought I'd do when I was on YouTube, I spent a lot of time cruising around a lot of channels. Some folks may do that, they may not. They might find one channel and they go, I like this, I'm in this sphere, and I'm staying here, and I'm good. Okay, good. Good on you. You found something. There's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. I'm not even going to repeat that, Cole Hauser. Cole Hauser's telling us what a great deal of exercise he's getting this morning. If I see you on the side of the road on a bike or running, and I'm either on my horse or in a car, I'm going to bump you just to get you out of that habit. You're making the rest of us look bad, all right? Stop it. He's on the Peloton this morning. You're the one guy keeping that company afloat, by the way. Congratulations. Well done, sir. The people at Peloton owe you. If you're not getting anything out of them, if you're not getting any reimbursement, you tell them I said they need to cough up, because you're the sole reason they're in business right now. I want to do this. I want to show y'all a channel that you might want to check out. If you're into drama, this will be even better. If you're not, it's still a pretty good channel to get to, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me show you a picture of a fellow by the name of Tommy C. And SFTP, Shot from the Point. That was Tommy's original channel. Tommy C, Shot from the Point. I'm not going to background this fella too much. Former active duty military, lives in Germany, loved it over there, stuck around. Okay, good. Got into YouTube about 10, 12 years ago, somewhere in there. Decided he wanted to do commentary at one point. So he starts, looking at drama and all that kind of thing. This is the fella that essentially Nicholas DiOrio got his start with. Tommy has a good takedown. The quartering is the big thing that's going around right now, the quartering and Keno Casino. If you want to get a good flavor of all of Tommy's material, for the most part, go check out his latest video. Not done yet. The quartering should shut up. Tommy's the kind of fella that is going to shoot it straight, whether he likes you or not. He does not particularly back one person or the other. There's a couple of folks he can't stand, and he'll tell you flat out, Hassan Piker being one of them. He's like, yeah, I can't stand the guy, period. But that's pretty few and far between. There's a lot of different folks that he's worked with. Did work with Keemstar at one point. That went sideways. And even though it went sideways, and if you want to hear the backstory to it, you can find it, but Tommy's not going to tell it, because that's the kind of dude he is. He doesn't go out there and go, oh, this was a raw deal and that was a raw deal. He don't work like that. So that was the one thing I wanted to do today with that one. If you get a chance and you're looking for something to listen to, like, I could use a good 2-hour VOD. His show is structured basically like a radio program. Not dissimilar to this one, but he's a little more radio-oriented. It's got a couple of, producer / co-host type people. He's got his version of Mr. Snurdly that Rush Limbaugh used to have. He's got one of them. So if you're looking for something to do and you got 2 hours and you're like, there's nothing, there's no live shows on, go check him out. And the reason I say that is, I was talking the other day about, the good things and bad things about YouTube. I want to try and highlight the good things about YouTube. Tommy C is one of the good ones. And you may go out there and go, okay, I'm not into drama. I don't want to do this. Okay, fair enough. But give it a free sub, and keep it in the background so that when one of these big controversies comes out and it's a he said, she said, and everybody's, you're 50-50 right down the middle, everybody's at each other's throat, you can roll over to Tommy C's Shot from the Point and get a really good background on. You're going to get good information because this guy knows absolutely everybody. He's a YouTube historian. He was there when it happened. So you're going to get a good background on it, and you're going to have a little bit. He's entertaining. He's got a laugh that just irritates the hell out of me. I don't know why he does that. He doesn't need it, but that's his thing. He's been doing it forever. He's got a hell of a lot more subs than I do, so he's got it. He's been out of the game for a little bit, but he just came back. He was down to about 20K subscribers. He had a couple million at one point, and now and then he went down to 20, because he hung it up for almost 2 years and people just bailed on him. And he just recently jumped back in like, you know what? I'm seeing some things I better pipe up about. So he did that. He back up to 51K in less than a month. So people found him again. I want to point some folks back at him. I don't know the man. He doesn't owe me anything. I don't owe him anything. Nothing like that. He's just somebody I found interesting. Thought some folks in this arena might like what he observes. All right. That was our first successful day of OBS in the studio today. Went fairly well, I think. I got a couple of things to clean up. I got a couple of Streamlabs widgets I got to put in here to make chat show up and be able to highlight things and that sort of deal, so we can get back to our usual format. It doesn't feel too weird. Got a little bit, yeah. Cole Hauser said a lot of people asked him to do politics on a stream. Said no, I do. Why do something to make myself miserable? They go, well, you got 20 years experience. I get that too. People tell the story about, I could, but then he's right. You just make yourself miserable at one point. And it's worse for me now because I look at when I was in, and that was, it wasn't 100 years back. It was a little while back. And I'm looking at it now and I go, good God, it's only gotten worse. Not one lesson's getting learned. And it's kind of scared me. I'm like, where's this going to wind up? I don't know. Not that scared. I mean, let's be honest. It can only go so long before something pops. And then it gets reset, which is really what we need. Yeah. If you're going to do something good for the world, reset this federal government. Because it's completely out of control. There's a mechanism for it. It's in the Constitution. We can do it. It's easy enough. It's easy enough, but you got to get everybody on board. And right now, I think that's part of the reason why they want, everybody at each other's throats, so they can't organize against the government, which would be the first place they'd go if they stopped fighting with each other. Anyway, all right, I'm not going to black pill anymore. It's a good day. We had a good Thursday. We talked about some fun things. We got a couple of jokes in there. Tomorrow is Friday. I am totally going to get out of any responsibility for the rest of the day. I'm going to put Dinkum on in a little bit. I might grab a bite about halfway through daily, and then I'm going to fire up Dinkum. We're going to build a town from nothing. That's a fun little game. I'm never going to forgive you for that, Marianne, by the way. I know you're doing it right. You're playing right now, aren't you? Yeah, I get you for this. We might fire up something else a little bit, like halfway into it, too. Might fire up some Path of Exile, Last Epoch. Hell, we might even play a little Fortnite. You never know. What the hell? I still got it on there. We'll play it before it collapses. See what goes. I don't know. Let's see. Anybody got a plug they want to do before we get on out of here? Cole, I know you got a show. You just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on your Monday show. Let me know if you want to plug that. Darth, Unfiltered Outlaws, they got their thing done. Then they got their weekend show. They got their Sunday show. If y'all haven't checked out Unfiltered Outlaws, I'm always going to plug them whenever I remember it. Go check them out. Spider Unlimited, The Beast, Donna Hall. They got a good joint. Go check them out. Give them a sub. And if you got any friends you want to bring along to this one, give me a holler. Tell them throw me a sub. Hit the bell. Smash the like. All that. Hit that like button like a rented mule. Midday Mixer at 1. Cole's going to be on with Jay, the Midday Mixer. I'm gonna stream in the background of you guys playing my thing. I may not. I don't know. Hell, I might fall asleep in my chair and wake up at 4 and you'll already be done. You never know. But, all right. And then Monday. Okay, good. I got the thumbs up. Monday, Cole Hauser got the Critical Drinker on. The Colossus scored the drinker. So, gets monetized 2 days later. He's got Critical Drinker on his show. Must be nice. Must be nice. I look forward to that. And remember, you got to ask him about Animal Farm. Ask him what he thinks about Andy Serkis redoing Animal Farm. I'm really keen to hear his thoughts on that one because I bet you he's going to come unglued. I'll bet he and Mahler probably already talked about it. Anyway, all right, let's get on out of here. Go check out what Daly's got going on. Let's go watch Ryan's, substantial temple veins throb. See if Jay can talk him off a ledge on something. And we will do this tomorrow, Friday chill stream. We're going to kick it, see what's going on in entertainment, see what's going on, and we'll do the fun stuff, tell a couple of jokes, maybe tell a war story, maybe do a little gaming. I don't know. We'll see. Barring any big news, that's what we'll do. But in the okay, we'll do. Cool. I got you. Barring anything in the interim, I will see y'all tomorrow. Be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. Do something nice for yourself. Make one person laugh today. And today that person can even be you. Make yourself laugh one time today. Look at something would normally piss you off and find the humor in it and have a good laugh. Be good to other people, even the people, especially the people that we don't particularly feel like being good to, because that's what the good Lord told us to do. Have a great day, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm just about done here. I never did know your name.
Yes, you do. Take care.
Yes, sir, Captain.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? We're some real pretty shit now, man.
You finished?
It's the end of the road.
You bastards!
Between Glamorgan and Yorkshire, the Yorkshire bowler Nicholson took 8 wickets for 3 runs. Glamorgan were all out for 36 and therefore won the match by an innings and 7 runs. Weather for tomorrow will be cloudy with occasional outbreaks of rain. And that is the end of the news.
And now?
Can we go home now?